Calls meeting to order. It's the Rice Creek Board of Managers regular meeting. It's Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024, 9 a.m. at the Shoreview City Hall Council Chambers. Let it reflect that all managers are present. And as I understand it, we have no proposed changes to the agenda, so if I can have a motion to set the agenda.
So move.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. And we're time to approve our board minutes.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the May 6, 2024 workshop minutes and the May 8, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to have discussion. I'm going to have two changes. The first one is on page 4, line 16 sentence, and it starts with, the board replied to Manager Weigeman that I would like to insert, if he desires board review of the project, comma, he should apply for a Watershed District permit and a Minnesota Wetland Conservation District application to start the project as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mike. I was going to ask for that too.
Yes.
Would you repeat the correction? sir?
Certainly. On line 17, after Manager Weigeman that, add comma, if he desires the board to review the project, comma. And then my second change, requested change, is on page 8, line 68. The sentence starts on 67. He stated that they looked at whether or not the existing or proposed sidewalk in one case would dam up water and prevent that rain. And it's not, strike the word water at that point and put in the garden and prevent the rain garden from performing its function. So with those, if I could,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I actually would like to make a note on the workshop minutes as well, if I'm
sure.
allowed to do that. On line 49, it states that myself, Manager Robertson, left the meeting due to a prior engagement. It would be helpful, I think, just for context, I left just after 11 and this meeting ended at 11:11. So I just don't want the minutes to reflect that I left the meeting 20 minutes in or a half hour in, that I was there for about 98% of the meeting. So I would just like that to be
Do you have
noted.
a specific language you'd like to ask for or propose?
No, I mean, I don't know what that looks like. I mean, if you need to insert a time, you can insert a time, but I just don't like it looking like I just breezed in and breezed out. I'm probably the only manager here that is not retired, so sometimes my schedule does not allow me to give.
Obviously, that's okay, and I would just note to assure you that this is, the person who does these minutes starts at the beginning and
Yep.
goes to the end. And
I understand
you see that you are just before administrator
Yep.
updates.
We,
Whatever.
Manager Bradley?
Yeah.
We'll just insert the time.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Manager Robinson left the meeting at 11 a.m. due to a prior engagement.
Yeah, it was after 11, but that's fine. I don't
Okay.
care, that's fine.
All right, great. So with, you accept those changes?
Yes.
How's the person who made the motion and the second? So with those changes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. And it passes. Thank you very much. That takes us then,
Open mic?
open mic. Do we have anyone on the phone other than Lewis?
You guys are on.
Apparently not. No one's here present, so open mic is not necessary. So does that take us then to Houston Engineering Task Order?
That is correct. First, action item 1, Houston Engineering Task Order 2024-006. This is the Enhanced Street Sweeping Initiative, and Molly's here to lead you through that.
Welcome, Molly.
All right, yes, good morning, Mr. President, Board of Managers. For your consideration today is Houston Engineering Task Order number 2024-006 for the Enhanced Street Sweeping Prioritization Study. This was presented and discussed at the last board workshop,
April 8th.
April 8th, thank you. The task order will be executed under the Stormwater Master Planning account for $29,000, and services will be complete by December 31st, 2024. If you have any questions about the items outlined in the task order, I have Chris from Houston here or myself to answer any of those.
Manager Wyatt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two questions. How are these high priority areas identified? And then looking back at the actual estimate budget, who are the people in your office, Chris, who are the project manager and the GIS scientist?
Sure. Andrew Wyman, Board of Managers. There's going to be several different criteria that will help with our prioritization. Some of that might be, how much work has been done in a particular watershed in order to address, either water quality or water quantity. Some of those areas have had a lot more work done, some have had less. Another part of prioritization will be how many projects we have sitting out there that are potentially ready to go or have been conceptualized that just haven't been implemented yet. That might be another characteristic. A lot of things related to the street sweeping that go into that equation. We have listed in here things like tree canopy density, impervious surface density, those kind of things. And it might even be related to how many BMPs are in the landscape in a particular area, places that have been built up without a lot of BMPs. The street sweeping is even more important in those areas than in some of the other areas of the district where we've had the opportunity to catch more of the material coming off the streets. Not to say that isn't important in those areas, but it's even more critical where we have kind of that direct connection between the impervious surface and our district resources. The other thing I'll note is that related to your second question, Rachel Olm will be the project manager on this. Rachel is the one that helped draft and complete the watershed management plan.
Oh, okay,
So she'll be the lead on that. And then we have one of our staff people. We have a couple different staff people that are involved with this one that will be helping out with this. I don't have Katie in our office. I'm struggling with her last name at the moment. Katie will be one of them that has, she's done already some research work on street sweeping, and she'll be helping to do that prioritization. She's one of our water quality staff.
So, Mr. Chair, to follow up, the street
Easy for you to say.
sweeping action is certainly considered statewide and has been a conversation with the Clean Water Council also. So and I understand that this board was one of the early promoters or respondents to a request for a street sweeper. So you can really get into the details. Is there a vacuum? Do you add the vacuum? How does all this stuff work? I guess specifically about how, do we in GIS know already about the canopy and the BMPs that are on the ground? I guess that's kind of the question is this all computered imagery, or are people going to be actually out on the street figuring this out?
This would be an office exercise. There are some of those data layers that are available.
Wow.
They give you kind of an initial first cut. And again, what we're trying to do is take that initial step of identifying the prioritization, identifying what could in the future can go into these plans that would be city specific then in the future, and that we could coordinate with those cities on. So it's really kind of a preemptive effort right now to try to get our handle on how are we going to take that role into the future with assisting these cities in street sweeping planning and initiatives.
Great project. Great opportunity.
Any other questions? John?
Mr. President, thank you. I see that this district staff is going to provide HEI with a list of city and county contacts with contact information. So I would just note that in the past, this has been a subject of a Washington County Consortium meeting and tour, and that the staff might check with the health department down there and Stephanie to see, and also with the Washington County Conservation District, because, you know, they did a study of this street sweeping in the Matamidi, Birchwood area before, and vacuums are in Hugo. So I just, that's a place to kind of get an idea of, since we're looking to see how the process works, what they did in the past, how they determined what a canopy was. You know, it's things like that is what I understood. So I just make those suggestions to contact those groups. And of course, Hugo has a vacuum one too, so Forest Lake.
Very good. Any other questions? I have a motion.
Sure. I move to authorize the board president to execute the HEI task order 2024-006 to complete the RCWD enhanced street sweeping prioritization study in the amount not to exceed $29,000.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. This take us to the water quality grants.
That is correct. Action item number 2, water quality grant W20-02. This is a Fran Miron waste storage facility invoicing schedule authorization. And Molly, again, is here to address that.
Yes, so Mr. President, Board of Managers, for your consideration, the Washington Conservation District reached out to RCWD staff with an inquiry for payment prior to the completion of the waste storage facility. This is in conjunction with the NRCS and Washington Conservation District. The contractor is proposing an invoicing schedule that will be effective as of early June. And the other two entities will be paying a good portion of their contribution to the project at that time. And they reached out to inquire if the Rice Creek Watershed District would be able to also pay the cost share at that time as well. So this consideration is authorization to proceed forward with that invoicing schedule and distribute funds at the time. The NRCS will be having an engineer go out and inspect the project and report back to ensure that the project is being installed per the approved plans for the grant.
Are there any questions? All right. Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I'll move that we authorize a W20-02 Fran Miron Waste Storage Facility Water Quality Grant cost share payment of $30,000 in coordination with the Washington County District and the NRCS funds dispersal plan, and upon delivery of confirmation from the NRCS that the project work completed at the time of payment is built according to approved plans.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. This is the Ramsey County Ditch 4 bid consideration. Tom?
I'm holding it. That's not my picture.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm not patient
That's
enough.
better.
Good morning, Mr. President, Board of Managers. I have for your consideration today a resolution awarding the contract for the repair of Ramsey County Ditch Number 4. Both Chris and I are here to answer any questions that you may have about the bid recommendation, which is in the packet.
So I have some questions.
Mr. President, I'll make the motion then, because I have some too.
Okay, so you make a motion, I'll second, we'll have some questions.
Yes. Yeah. I move to offer resolution 2024-4 and its adoption.
And I'll second that.
Go ahead.
So these are people who do lawn care, snow removal, and tree removal. So I'm not seeing any dredging here. Is that true?
Mr. President, no, it's not. Dredging is not part of the project. It's simply tree removal and vegetation management.
What makes this a repair?
It's a repair to the right-of-way and access to the ditch.
Could you
Chris?
repeat that, Tom? I missed.
It's right-of-way access to the ditch. It's maintenance of the right-of-way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President, to further that, there are, deadfalls that have fallen into the ditch at various places too, so that also is part of the repair effort. Those can potentially be blockages as well. But yeah, this is definitely different than a lot of our other repairs. This is closer to what we did on ACD 5362 and Circle Pines there. That one, actually, the biggest part of that effort was the tree removal and gaining the access. We did do some clean out of the ditch on that one, but in this particular one, there's little or no sediment accumulation in the ditch. That again doesn't mean that it doesn't and can't get blocked. It has gotten blocked in the past with deadfalls and that sort of thing. And we also have erosion concerns that are going on there because that tree canopy is keeping undergrowth from occurring there, and so you get a lot more erosion coming in there, which is sending it downstream into the flatter portions of the ditch.
Have we decided yet as a board, I should know the answer to this obviously, how we're going to recover these costs?
Yes, this one is 60% water management district, 40% ad valorem. So it's identical to what we've done before there, RC.
On this particular ditch?
Yeah.
Those are my questions.
Mr.
John?
President, so I'm confused here on page 29. It says review of bids and recommendations, and one of the dots says clearing, grubbing, erosion control, and turf establishment for Washington County. What's Washington County got to do with the Ramsey County ditch is my question.
Yeah, Manager Waller, I believe that is a typo or a remnant from a prior memo or edit. So yeah, that should be stricken, the for Washington County on the memo. So yeah, that line item just simply is,
So, well,
clearing and actually we are not intending to do grubbing either. We're doing clearing and erosion control. So we are going to leave these stumps in the bank.
so striking the words grubbing
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
and the for Washington County, you're going to have turf establishment, I assume?
I am sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I misunderstood when I was looking at this. In those bullets, those weren't describing what we're doing on our project. Those are describing the contractor's previous project. So he did
right.
work. They did
Okay.
work with Washington County. It should be, the word with should be stricken from there. It should just say clearing, grubbing, erosion control,
For
and turf
Washington
establishment for Washington County. That was their project example they provided to demonstrate that they were qualified.
All right.
Apologize for the confusion there.
Mr.
Well, I
President?
didn't understand what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So, Marcy?
Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just have a quick question. Could you define grubbing? Just what, I mean, the whole, what you consider grubbing?
Sure. So in our definition of grubbing, it would be taking and pulling the stumps out or grinding the stumps to get rid of that material. So on any of our public drainage system projects, we almost always leave the stump and root mass in so that it helps hold the bank together. We just flush cut, meaning we cut the tree down within 2 inches of the surface so that we can access it and, go over the top of the stump, but, of course, can't get chainsaws and that into the dirt and that sort of thing, so.
Right. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, my question is about the bid amounts. The engineer estimated that it was $226,000, and this is less than half. So, and actually, all of the bids came in less. What does that say to us?
Very good question. So when we prepared the opinion of probable cost for the project, we were very conservative on what our costs were, particularly for the tree removal and the hydro seeding, because we felt like there would be concerns that the contractors would have for access along here. This is in a highly urbanized area. It's going alongside the Northwestern University, tight corridors. So we felt like it was likely that the contractors, when they'd see this, they would have concern, nervousness about that access and have inflated costs beyond what we typically would see for a unit cost. As it turned out, they didn't share that nervousness, and they also, if you look at like the low bid, they put only $2,400 in mobilization on the project, and so that is pretty low for a project like this. Usually, that's mobilization they use not only to get the equipment on the site, but also to account for cost of preparing bonds and that sort of thing. And so, each contractor bids it a little different way, and they evidently feel like it's not going to be that much effort to get their equipment on site and perhaps spread those costs around to other items.
Okay, and I see you suggested putting in another 30%, so.
Correct.
That helps with
Given that the costs come in so low and the percentage of or the amount of dollars out of 104,000, that percentage of 30%, isn't even that much. And so, we do want to make sure that there is enough there so we don't have to go back to you in the middle of the project to, do something that we didn't foresee out there.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Any further questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
This, it's a task order, isn't it? Isn't this a resolution?
Oh, yes, good catch.
What?
Good catch.
Page 27.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, well, so we've had a motion and a second, but I think we should go back and redo our motion. I move that we pass resolution number 2024-04. Resolve the Board of Managers that the contract for the repair of Ramsey County Ditch Number 4 is awarded to Valdez Lawn Care and Snow Removal LLC for the contract price of $104,165. The district administrator shall sign and transmit the notice of award, sign the construction agreement, and issue the notice to proceed on advice of council and the district engineer when prerequisites for insurance and bonding have been met by the contractor. The district administrator may sign task change orders, increase the contract price and the aggregate net amount, not to exceed 30% of the contract price, $31,249.50, to address unforeseen conditions or omissions discovered as the project progresses. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All right, it's a roll call. Bradley, yes. Robertson.
Aye.
Wagaman.
Yes.
Waller.
Aye.
Wynant.
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Thank you for that catch, John.
Thank you, Madam.
Oh. Treasurer.
Treasurer's report? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the check register dated May 22nd, 2024, in the amount of $290,252.56, and the May interim financial statements prepared by Red Path and Company.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Manager Bradley, if I might, it's notable that the audit that you completed on 2023 is now reflected in the monthly reports. So on 36, where they show 2023 fund balance, it's based on the audit.
Very good, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
we're staff reports. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. I guess we're at June calendar.
Yes, Manager Bradley, as you noted, June calendar is on the last page of the packet, page 76. Notably, I'd like to bring up here that Minnesota Watersheds, MOD, their summer tour coincides with the Rice Creek Board meeting on the 26th. The 26th is the bus tour, so my purpose here is to know if we might have a quorum for the meeting yet, or if some of the managers wanted to attend or not. And when we don't have a quorum, we could look at moving the meeting to the Thursday.
Mr. Chair? If you look at the tour information, there are 2 tours on June 26th, and it is possible, I mean, I'm thinking that I would join the tour after the meeting, so I would be available to be at our Rice Creek meeting on the 26th. Like, we could, depending, too, if it's a light agenda like today, we could easily, drive to one of the 2 tours.
So I would be more than happy to carpool with you to go to catch up with it. And
Okay.
we'll go from there. So we've got 2 people that are going to be here.
Mr. President, I'll be present.
All right, so we have a quorum.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah. we
at
can go
this
from there.
time.
Go ahead.
And if I could just make one quick note, so in addition to this, I also serve on the Met Council Transportation Advisory Board, and because of the Juneteenth holiday, which is usually when our scheduled Wednesday meeting would be, they've moved it to the 12th of June, which is now our Watershed meeting. So I'm going to try to pull double duty, because I'll have to be here and then down in St. Paul. So I just wanted to give you a heads up, if that meeting, I mean, in recent, they've been fairly brief, but if for some reason it turns into a barn burner, I may have to sneak out so I can do both things,
Very
just
good.
so you're aware.
Thank you, appreciate
Yep.
that.
They'll definitely.
That's on
know.
the 12th, right?
Yes, so typically we meet that third Wednesday, so it drops in a pocket between the watershed manager meetings, but because of the Juneteenth
Yep.
holiday, they've scooched it up.
And just to note, I will not be here on the 12th.
Okay.
I will be out of the state.
Yeah, worst case, I can always remote in if for some reason it looks like a really long agenda and I won't be able to get to St. Paul in time, so we'll figure it out. I'll make sure, since knowing that you won't be here, I'll make sure that I'm present in some capacity.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Well, I don't want our lawyer to have a heart attack. We'll figure that out.
It's summertime.
So, any further discussion on the calendar? If not, I guess we're up to what? Nick, your report?
Yes, administrator updates. I do have a couple here. Notably, Rice Creek continues with its partner, New Brighton, to finish up Hanson Park in regards to the adjustments with FEMA. Some of the homes around the park are in the floodplain based on the historic modeling, et cetera. We find that modeling to be incorrect, and we had told New Brighton we would work with them on that. That is to say that Rice Creek does the work because we have the model, and that's an extensive effort. It's a federal agency, as you know, and we just got a communication back that they have many, many questions, which causes us to continue on. So more info, more cost. We'll keep nibbling away at it. Next
How many
item,
years has that been now, Nick?
2018, I think we completed it. Yeah. We always had the FEMA deal as an after item, but yeah.
Well, it's important, Mr. President, to note that the city's requested us to work with them and that our floodplain that's what we're doing.
Yes, yes,
That's the important point. This is the,
yep.
Exactly.
We've had communications from landowners who are currently subject to the needs of flood insurance, and they would be happy to see that removed. So the work continues. On the last meeting, we had the CEO Human Resource Agreement. There were some questions about the costs there. I think there was recognition that someone who knows the districts, its positions and employees would be an advantage. So my report regarding the cost, I think Jess and John might have brought that up. I'm sorry. Manager Robertson and Manager Waller. The expense up to this point, the running contract not to exceed at the end of April had a remaining $12,000 in 2024 budget, which these are two different things, was at $40K remaining. So there's dollars there. We just knew the end of the year was coming, and if we were going to change the agreement, best to do it once. So again, this will be part of our biannual consultant services request for proposals. Boundary, the district's regulatory boundary or legal boundary. The concurrence letters are coming together, so we expect those to go out soon to our partners, whoever's on the boundary, so they can come back to us with their concurrence on the proposed boundary change. Tom has reported the JD3 work is coming to a close. He's fielding some remaining landowner concerns and such on the system. You may recall originally we budgeted a majority of this work in 2023. We actually had more in 2024, but it is coming to a close. Happy about that. Of course, issues with beavers, oddly enough this year, for whatever reason, seem to be very extensive, keeping Tom and his team busy. Matt Koshina at the office reported on the Centerville Alm treatment, our $1 million project that we got the grant for. First phase is wrapping up. The contractor completed their final run of applying the alm to the surface water, and they're demobilizing. This is just yesterday. They applied nearly 200,000 gallons of the alm treatment. All went as planned, accesses through the county park with their construction on the road and stuff, that worked out fine. I know county was a great partner on that. St. Paul Water Regional Services, their pump house property on the shores of the lake worked out for a staging area of refueling the barge. So they were a great partner in that as well. From here, the Rice Creek will continue the water quality monitoring. The water is much clearer than it was, so it worked. We'll be looking at aquatic plants. We know that's typically the first response is a big flush of vegetation, and then it may calm down after that. But Matt and his team will be looking at that. Also involved here is our sediment cores and the information that they gather from monitoring and how that may impact the application rates for the spring of 2026. You'll remember this was a two-phase project. Updatings in regards to Rice Creek employees, our positions. I have one of the inspector positions filled, someone accepted. You'll probably meet them at your workshop in June. Got some interest in the project manager position. I'm hoping for a signed agreement on terms coming up here. Same with program support. I just sent these final proposals out to the folks, the good folks yesterday, and I see I have some emails from them. So still looking to pull in our technical field assistant, our second position, and inspector on that. So my two bits for the board. Thank you much.
Congratulations on the movement on the staff.
Yes.
Yes.
Keep our fingers crossed for us.
Yeah, it's a challenging environment, I would say, for finding folks and retaining them. So I think we're making some great headway.
Manager Waller.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had some complaints from Matamidi area about a flooding on what they call Birchwood Road, which is, and I also had a complaint about in Birchwood about beavers in Halls Marsh. So, in addition to that, the Department of Natural Resources Administrative Law Judge made a decision that was announced on Friday concerning the White Bear Lake. And while I haven't read the decision, the newspaper article headlines sounded wonderful. It said it was unconstitutional. But once you got into reading the rest of the article, the fine print, you found that basically there was just a shift, and now the cities had to make their plans to provide a water management plan that would work with the Department of Natural Resources, 75 gallons a day and 90 gallons for a household more than one. And so it just shifted the responsibility as far as I can see. I don't know. At this time, the city of Hugo hasn't determined whether they're going to continue with the appeal of the laws of this ruling. And that's the same for Oakdale and some other areas around that haven't signed an agreement with the Department of Natural Resources. I was disappointed to read on Sunday morning, I should say Monday morning, that the bonding bill hadn't passed. And I was definitely disappointed to read that there was an adjournment on Saturday for 11 hours while the negotiation for the Uber wages were going on because a member of the Senate was conducting those negotiations. So the rest of the state lost our bonding bill. Not happy about that. Hopefully we can hear something from the people on the tour as to what the situation is down there. I understand that Mr. Koshin gave a very nice presentation at the Clear Lake Owners Association and was complimented upon his knowledge and interest. And other than that, Mr. President, I don't think I have anything else.
Mr. Went?
I have nothing.
Mr. Waterman?
The only thing I have is I just want to clarify on the calendar. I was a little unclear there. I will be at all of the meetings. The only thing I'm questioning is whether I'll be at the tour.
Robertson?
Not an update, just a couple of comments. First, I just want to compliment Matt because I think they're doing such a fantastic job on the project on Centennial Lakes. I've actually really enjoyed seeing the updates and the visuals, the drone footage of what that process looks like. So I think the staff is doing a really great job highlighting that. I think it's nice to see positive things about any government entity, and this project seems to be nothing but positive. So I just want to compliment Matt and the Watershed team on that. And the second comment that I had, Nick, was in regards to your to your admin update. Thank you for providing the details of the HR contract information. Just whenever it does come back up in its full glory, I'm curious, not just the dollar amount, but how the dollar amounts are being used. Is it, fees and services for benefits packages, or is it, what's the content behind the charges? So that, again, for another time, just wanted to piggyback on your comments. Other than that, I got nothing.
Okay. I have nothing to add. So with that, the motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn, so moved.
Second?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Done.
Sorry, I think
Recording stopped.